Hey, what's happening everyone? It's me, it's Jinsula. I hope you're having a good day and welcome to today's Pokemon Go discussion video. Alright, so for today, I wanted to do an off-the-cuff discussion regarding Dynamax Pokemon along with all the features that they're releasing with Dynamax Pokemon. Niantic is kind of in a weird place right now when it comes to Pokemon Go. There's a lot of good things that they are doing, but there is also a lot of things that have been huge misses, and I really do hope that when it comes to Dynamax Pokemon, it's going to be a feature that will actually be successful. But as of right now, I feel like they're setting it up for failure, and I do think that some of the things that they said regarding Dynamax Pokemon and the way the system is going to work is extremely concerning, and I'm really worried about the future about this new feature. I mean, when they announced Dynamax Pokemon, a lot of players were giving mixed reactions. There were definitely some players who were really excited about this new feature, but there was also a bunch of players who were extremely disappointed because you simply cannot do anything with Dynamax Pokemon outside of just Dynamax content. The way they have it set up is that Dynamax is going to be its own thing within Pokemon Go, and I don't necessarily agree with that. I feel like Dynamax Pokemon need to be useful in other areas of Pokemon Go. You need to be able to use Dynamax Pokemon in raids. You need to be able to use them in PvP. I really do not know what it could be, but they need to have it set up where it's going to be somewhat similar to Mega Evolutions. It's going to be a temporary power-up for some specific Pokemon, but that power-up is going to give you some gameplay advantages. Because as of right now, with Dynamax Pokemon being in its own vacuum, it's not necessarily going to give players incentives to engage with this feature. There's a lot of people out there who still only care about PvP and raid battles, and if they release something new that's not going to affect any of those things, then people are just simply not going to care. I mean, if you really think about it, the only real use for party play, for example, is of course the bonus raid damage that you get when you raid with the people within your party. Outside of that, I don't think a lot of players actually care about party play. It's one of those features that kind of fell flat as soon as it was released. And yeah, there's some players out there who will engage in party play simply for the extra rewards and the experience of it all. But outside of that, I just simply do not think the potential of party play was ever met. And I do think that the same might be said for Dynamax Pokemon. If they do not give you any real incentives to engage with Dynamax Pokemon, then players are just simply not going to care. We already know this because there's so many different features in Pokemon Go that are extremely cool, but no one cares about them because there's no real incentives to actually engage with those features. A big example is of course AR photography. I don't even think there's a lot of people who are aware that they completely overhauled AR photography. It's a much more intuitive system with a lot of cool new features, but people just simply do not engage with it. I mean, that might be the case for Dynamax Pokemon. Yeah, it might be cool when you come across a power spot and you can collect a bunch of Dynamax Pokemon, but considering that you can't use those Pokemon outside of Dynamax battles, it's kind of a moot thing. Like, there's no real reason for you to engage with Dynamax Pokemon. I think it's a real shame that Niantic has it set up this way. Now, I think there's only one thing that would incentivize players to actually engage with Dynamax battles along with collecting Dynamax Pokemon, and that is some exclusive, very powerful rewards that you could only get from winning those Dynamax battles. Let's say you can get Pokecoins outside of the 50 daily limit, or they're going to be a really good source of Rare Candy XLs or Stardust or Experience. I really do not know. But yeah, I really think that's a huge missed opportunity that Niantic is not allowing players to use Dynamax Pokemon in other areas outside of Dynamax content. I do think there is potential here. I mean, Dynamax is definitely going to be a thing that Niantic is going to continue to build upon, and I really hope they do. And it's definitely going to open up a lot of new forms of gameplay. This could be a brand new chapter of Pokemon Go where they're going to do a lot of content around this specific new feature. But as of right now, it's kind of in a bare bones state, like every other thing that they've released in the past couple of years. I really do not like the fact that everything that they've released in the past couple of years has been an unpolished, very buggy and glitchy mess, and it takes several months for them to iterate on these new features until they're in a much better state. Routes, party play, there's so many different examples. The AR system, the avatar customization system, like there's a lot of features that just simply did not land when they were released. And I'm really hoping Dynamax Pokemon and this new Dynamax feature is not going to follow suit. I really want this new feature to succeed because for myself as a Pokemon Go player, I've been extremely bored with Pokemon Go for the longest time. I hardly log on as much as I used to. I still play as much as I can. I still engage with like community days and raid days and Wednesday raid hours, but outside of that stuff, I just simply do not find a good reason to log in every single day. I feel like I almost have to just to get the daily catch and daily spin every single day. I think there's some things that need to change with Pokemon Go, and there is a lot of potential that Dynamax is going to be that feature that will create a lot of changes and a lot of unique gameplay. But as of right now, with everything that they announced, I'm very skeptical and I'm actually very pessimistic. I just simply cannot get excited for Dynamax right now with what they have laid out. Maybe they're going to surprise us. Maybe there's actually going to be something really cool with Dynamax that I'm just simply not seeing, but we really will not know until the feature does get released in the month of September. I'm actually looking forward to it. I kind of want to see how it all ends up turning out, but yeah, it's a real shame because there's just so many mixed reactions within the Pokemon Go community, and I think those mixed reactions are totally well merited. If people are disappointed with Dynamax Pokemon, I think they have the right reasons to be disappointed. If people are excited about Dynamax Pokemon, then I think those reasons are totally merited as well. But in the overall sense of things, I'm just really sad to see that not everyone is going to be excited about a new feature, and it's been that way for such a long time. It really is something that I wish for when it comes to Pokemon Go, that anytime Niantic announces something for this game, that players get extremely hyped about it. That you're always going to have naysayers, that's kind of a given when it comes to a big AAA game, but I think that what Niantic should be aiming for is that anytime they make big announcements, they draw a lot of hype, rather than a lot of, skepticism and negativity. Like, that just seems to be the theme with everything Niantic does, and it's just a real shame. But in any case, that's going to be it for this video. Let me know your thoughts regarding Dynamax Pokemon down below. Are you also feeling very pessimistic about this new feature, or are you actually excited about it and you have some really good reasons to be excited? I would really like to know what that reason is, because yeah, I want to be excited for Dynamax Pokemon. I really do not want to feel disappointed with everything Niantic does. So if you have a good reason to be excited about Dynamax Pokemon, definitely share it in the comments below, because yeah, I would like to hear it. But yeah, in any case, that's going to be it for this discussion video. If you ended up enjoying it and found it to be insightful, make sure you hit that like button and subscribe if it's your first time here. And also don't forget that notification bell so you can stay up to date on whenever I upload videos. And real quick, let me give a shout out to all my patrons on Patreon. If you want to support the Jinsula channel, the obvious best way to do so is by joining my Patreon. And if you become a paid Patreon member, you will have full access to remote raids and different things that I do within Pokemon Go, because for all of my patrons, I add them to my Pokemon Go friends list. So if that's something that interests you, then make sure you go and check out my Patreon. And if you want to support my channel in a completely different way, you can do so by following me on social media. My handle is @Jinsula. I'm on the platforms that you see on screen. Make sure you go over there and give me a follow. With all that said, that's going to be it for this video. I'm Jinsula. Be safe, have fun, love yourself, and I will catch you all later. 진솔아와 함께해 Pokémon Go 다 같이 와